David Bailey joins me now on Your Sport Swindon. David, thank you for joining me. First time we've spoken since you teamed up with Paddy Fitzpatrick. Yeah. How's it been?
Amazing. Just well worth the move from Bristol. Well worth the journey every single day, and just improving every time I come here. Yeah, loving it.
What do you like about it in particular, and how's, in 2 fights, how has Paddy kind of helped spur on your career?
The focus on training, the progression we make with every day I come here, the focus in sparring, on the pads, on the bag, shadow, everything. It's just it's so much more focused than what I've been used to. In Bristol, you'd have a few coaches. You'd have one coach telling you to throw a punch a certain way, and then you'd have someone else in your ear telling you, don't do it that way, do it this way. So you can't. You were kind of trying to please everyone, and you won't get anywhere. Here, you've got one voice telling you to follow that voice, and that's what I do, and I love it. Yeah.
And Paddy's obviously, got a long history in the sport. It started with, kind of learning off Freddie Roach, and you don't get a lot better than that. And he's obviously been with boxers like, George Groves, Eamon O'Kane. So you're learning from someone that's mixed with some of the best in the sport.
Yeah, he's been there, he's done that, and what can you do? What can you say about that? You can only take positives away from that. There's nothing you can take that's negative from that. And with this experience he's got, he knows what he's talking about. When you're in there with him, he's been in world title fights. When he's giving you advice in the corner, in the middle of your fight, you're getting good advice. And he's very calm with it, calculated with it, and it's basically what we've been doing in the gym when he does give me advice. It's just, just cleaning it up a little bit in the ring. So yeah, I'm loving it.
I was just going to ask you that, how you found him in the corner. You're 2 fights in with him now, so what are the plans from here on in?
Well, from here now, I'd like to get an 8-rounder. I want to win titles. I'm 32 years old, so I haven't got as much time as most professionals do that are 5-0 or 2-0 with Paddy. So I have got to get a move on. I mean, I've got get 8-rounder in, and then face the Southern Area champion eventually, maybe before the end of the year if I can. I know he's Kelvin Young is boxing, and he's a Swindon boy, isn't he? So he's boxing soon. He's boxing at York Hall, which I'll be keeping an eye on. And then there's another guy boxing there, Joel McIntyre. He'll be looking to box the winner of Kelvin's fight. And then when they face each other, I'd like to fight the winner of that for the Southern Area. So, but in order to do that, I need to get an 8-rounder in before then. So my next move is to get an 8-rounder in. Yeah.
And when do you think that'll be?
I'm hoping September. Yeah, September. I'll be ready to box again in September. So I can't see why not. Yeah.
And the guys you just mentioned there, who were, in and around the Southern Area title, fancy your chances against all of them?
I fancy my chances against anyone in the light heavy division. There's no one. I'm not worried about anybody. I just concentrate on myself, and with Paddy, I'm just improving every time, and I'm sure I'll come victorious with every fight I have. Yeah.
And one of your stable mates, he's in the same division, Sam Smith. So
yeah.
also trained by Paddy. And what's your thoughts on him?
Great boxer, fantastic boxer. I wish I had his levers, his big long levers on him. Great jab, great boxer. So he's in the mix as well. He's 2-0, I believe. He'll be moving on to 3-0 by the end of the weekend. So he's a little bit behind me, with regards to his record. So that's why I'm pushing on a bit further, but I'm sure he's looking at the Southern Area as well himself, and looking at the loser instead of the winner. Take on the loser, and then he'd be looking on. He'd be hot on my heels. So I need to get a move on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because we were just talking about that off camera, and I think it would be unlikely for you both to fight each other one day. But I guess you never know if there's something big on the table and you were both there.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah, exactly. Boxing is boxing, but it's a business. So, you don't rule anything out in boxing. But I can't see that happening in the near future. Definitely not.
You mentioned your age, you know, you're 32. You know, you got a peak at your career now, I suppose. How many years do you feel you've got left in the game?
I think realistically, I got a good 3 years. I think realistically, I'm aiming to get my goals. I want a British title. That's what I want. I'm aiming to get that within the 18 months. I mean, I think I'm good enough to do it. I think I will be good enough to do it. Beg your pardon. I'm not saying I am at the moment because I've still got a lot of progression to make with Paddy, but I'm making it every day I come. Every day I come here. Hashtag every day's a school day. Definitely, and it is with Paddy. So I think by the time 18 months is up, if I'm not in line for a British title, then I'm not achieving my goals. Yeah.
And everyone that comes to the gym gets a nickname, and I believe Paddy's given you one as well.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
Well, I tell you, let me just go through the original one, right? The original one, they call me the Bomber Bailey, and I got that from the Irish community in Bristol because he's played Gaelic football, and apparently I look like a guy who, funnily enough, called the Bomber Liston. I think he played for Kerry or Cork, I don't know, but the guy put it on me. He's a Cork man who put it on me. He said I look like the Bomber Liston. He's a corner forward in Gaelic football, and I used to play corner forward as well. But since I've come here, Paddy has put the throwback on me, the throwback Bailey, because he looks at me and he can see an old school fighter. And he's not the first to say that. I've got a lot of people saying Jack Dempsey, which I hold to my heart. I love that Jack Dempsey comparison. So yeah, he thinks I'm the throwback fighter I can box in any era. Yeah.
So that's a new nickname and it's staying now, yeah?
I'm sticking it. I love it. I love it. It goes. It's got a nice ring to it, the throwback. Yeah.
Well, David, thanks ever so much for joining us, and we look forward to hearing about, you know, when your next fight is, and we might see you at your call if you're supporting the guys out there.
I'll be there, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Cheers, David.